First District Association is a dairy processing cooperative located in central Minnesota, city of Litchfield. We count about 560 producer members as part of our cooperative. We have one site where we process all the incoming milk, about 7.5 million pounds a day, into commodity cheese and whey byproducts. So we're producing roughly 800,000 pounds of cheese every day. Cheese at First District is primarily going to the domestic market, predominantly here in the upper Midwest. We're blessed with a lot of further processing here. Our cheese is produced in 500-pound barrels and 40-pound blocks, so it takes further processing before it gets to the store shelves and the restaurants. When you start talking about our waste stream, those are byproducts that we have been exporting for a long time. So we're exporting lactose into Asia, Southeast Asia, whey protein concentrates also going to the same place, and some into the MENA regions as well. First District, it seems like, has been in a steady state of expanding over the years. We've had great leadership with a vision at the board level to continue to modernize the facility here. We look at this investment through the lens of our dairy producers, who certainly are putting the equity into the co-op to do this, and they take a very long-term view.
Ruby Dairy's been shipping milk to First District ever since we have started here. About a tanker load and a half, so about 10,000 gallons of milk per day going to FDA for cheese production. Here at Ruby Farms, we're milking 1,000 cows. I'm co-owner with my wife Karen and my daughter Rachel and her husband Patrick. The expansion that took place there and the cheese plant has assured us that we'd have a market for our milk in the future. We were always looking forward that we'd have a plant here long into the future.
They view their dairies as multi-generational. And so at the end of the day, I think an investment like this sends that clear signal to our membership that, hey, First District wants to be here many years into the future. So there's a component there that we just want to continually upgrade and make sure we have relevant assets here at First District. Technology continues to evolve, so in an effort to have scales of economy, to be efficient, we want to certainly capitalize on the latest technology. There's also been a diversification play at times. So a few years back, we were not able to produce 40-pound blocks. We felt that we were at a disadvantage at that time. So, this investment here recently allowed us to do that. And just from a packaging perspective and foot traffic, other places in the plant, being able to modernize has just reduced the amount of manual labor, and we believe helping our employees work more efficiently and effectively. CoBank has been instrumental in our ability to continue this progression of investments. Certainly, I suppose you could argue that, absent a CoBank, we may have been able to complete some of this stuff, but I can guarantee you that we would not have been able to do it on the same timeline. And so that's really been an important help for us, is to be able to have a partner like CoBank come alongside, finance and operations, share a long-term vision, and that allows our producers to then focus a little bit more of their equity, a little bit more of their time on their own operation, and a little bit less in the cooperatives. That has enabled them to speed up some of their investment and really been able to kind of spur growth within our member community.
We've had a really good relationship with First District over a long period of time. And I don't think we're surprised that our two organizations are such a good fit for one another, because we're so aligned. We're both laser focused on the agricultural industry and the dairy industry. We're focused on servicing our member producers, and we're both structured as cooperatives, right? And I think that alignment really speaks to the relationship that we've developed. And we've been able to support First District through a lot of different cycles, both in the dairy industry, as well as different cycles in their business. When they're making substantial investments, we've been there kind of hand in glove.
So it's extremely important, extremely vital that there's confidence that the milk truck is going to come the next day and the day after that and the day after that. These investments that we've had has certainly helped set us up for multi-generational processing of our producers' milk.